Hi everyone, this is Yana Smakula and welcome to another Hero Arts video tutorial. In this video, I'll give you an in-depth look at the new Ombre inks and will show you how to use them to create quick monochromatic thinking of you cards. So here I have the 4 new Ombre ink pads: Ombre Hydrangea, Ombre Soft Sky to Indigo, Ombre Meadow, and Ombre Spring Brights. In case you're new to Ombre inks and don't know how to use them, let me give you a quick introduction. So each Ombre ink pad consists of 3 sections, each holding its own color. When colors are applied onto a stamp, you get a beautiful ombre or gradient look. Let's take this Ombre Soft Sky to Indigo pad. I'm going to ink up my woodblock Fancy Thinking of You stamp using this ink, starting with the lightest color at the top. You can have it at the bottom. I just like to have a lightest color at the top and the darkest at the bottom. When inking up with ombre inks, you need to do a little dance with your stamp and go tap, 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 back and forth when inking to help the ink colors mix together and avoid having harsh lines when you stamp the image. Let me pick up my stamp and the ink pad and show you this action from the side. I am tapping my stamp onto the ink pad and I am moving it up and down, making sure to cover the entire surface of the stamp and also making sure to mix my ink colors slightly for that beautiful ombre look. So tap, 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 and stamp onto your paper. Rock your stamp a little bit, and there you have a gorgeous Soft Sky to Indigo ombre impression. Let me use this stamp with the other 3 ink pads to show you the ink color on the paper. I'm using Ombre Hydrangea, and again, tap, tap, tapping my stamp, mixing that ink and creating a beautiful gradient from light to dark purple. I'm cleaning my stamp with an ultra clean cleaning solution from Hero Arts to make sure the stamp is clean and I don't have any ink residue when I go to use my next ink pad. Next, I'm using Ombre Spring Brights, and finally I'm stamping with the Ombre Meadow ink pad. So here are all the ink pads and impressions side by side so you can better see the colors and gradients you can get. From left to right, we have Soft Sky to Indigo, Hydrangea, Spring Brights, and Meadow. Now let's go ahead and turn these pretty sentiment panels into cards. I'm going to use color layering Bird and Blossoms stamp set and coordinating dies to add beautiful spring branches to my panels. I've already die cut 4 sets of shapes using Bird and Blossom frame cut dies out of white cardstock. I kept my dies together and I didn't cut them apart, as this way it's a bit easier and faster for me to cut my shapes out. I'm doing cutting first and stamping later. I'm going to use Kappa Joe brown ink to stamp 4 sets of branches for my panels, and will later use ombre inks to stamp flowers and birds to complete my cards. With the Bird and Blossom stamp set, I find it easier to align images when I have the die cuts ready first. This way, it's much easier to tell which flower image goes with which branch. I find this saves a lot of time and gives me better results. So I'm going to use Hydrangea Ombre ink to stamp flowers. I'm using the lightest color of ink from my ombre pad to stamp the tiny floral buds on the branches. They are just about to bloom. I'm also using lightest color to stamp the flowers in bloom, their bottom layer, and I'm using the same ink color to stamp the bottom layer of my birds. I mixed the lightest and medium color for my largest bird and added a little bit of that darker purple color to the bird's belly. To stamp the details on both birds and flowers, I'm using medium and darkest ink colors from my ombre ink pad. I love to use my ombre pads for both large images to have that beautiful one-of-a-kind ombre look, and also for small color layering images. The colors have been carefully selected in these so I can be sure to have perfect color coordinating results every time. I stamped branches, flowers, and birds using all 4 of my ombre ink pads for each of my panels. Let's put our cards together now. I'm going to use foam adhesive and will first foam mount the branches around the sentiment to somehow frame it. I want to create the illusion of the sentiment floating in the sky and the person seeing it through the branches of a blooming tree. Next, I'm going to foam mount my birds. Some will sit on the branches, and one will be flying in the sky about to land. Lastly, I'm also adding the flowers in bloom. I'm attaching those to the ends of my branches. I'm using scissors and cutting the excess branches off. I'm going to foam mount my panel onto an A2 top folding card base made out of craft cardstock, and we'll also add a little bit of natural twine in the top. Lastly, I'm going to add little clear droplets around my branches and flowers using Nuvo drops in Morning Dew. You can skip this step, you can add droplets, or you can add sequins to match the color of your stamping. So here's the look at all 4 cards I made using new Hero Arts Ombre inks. I only used 1 other ink colors for these today. I used Coppa Joe to stamp the branches. So here's a card I made using Soft Sky to Indigo. Next one is made using Hydrangea. Next one made using Spring Brights. And the last one is made using Meadow. Fantastic new colors and blends to play with. So this finishes this video. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments section on YouTube or on Hero Arts blog. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye!